Today we're jumping back into Dune Awakening because I wanted to talk about another money-making method that is just absolutely insane. You could potentially be walking away with 800,000 Solari in just 20 minutes. Of course, this is server dependent. It does kind of depend on what your auction house is doing. But that being said, I've seen these and heard these things being sold for more than what I was able to sell them today. So you may possibly make more than 800,000 Solari in just literally 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and cut this plug here and jump right on into what I'm talking about. And that, of course, is agave seeds. These seeds are used for several things. First off, and probably the main thing, is these iodine pills. These iodine pills are something that increase your radiation mitigation, which allows you to stay inside of the radiation zones a little bit longer. But on top of that, these agave seeds are also used in base decoration, with something like this Atreides banner here costing 15 agave seeds. So these are something that people will need to use, and gathering them is not super complicated, but it is a task. Let's go ahead and jump in and talk about what probably is the best way for you to go about getting these seeds. These agave seeds themselves are going to be located in this Ode Ham region, and you can either just use a scanner probe to scan this region off, or you could do what I did and just roll out there with a scout ornithopter with a scanner, scan a few regions, and kind of route out the circle that you want to take. As you can see here on this map, and as well as in the clips that I'll be showcasing in the background, there's actually a decent amount of agave seed spawns here. However, they're spread few and far between, and there's a lot of verticality to deal with, and these aren't the easiest thing to spot. But if you scan this region, as you can see here, you should be able to easily route out a pretty decently sized radius of seeds that you're farming in a loop. So what you're going to want to do is have a good 5, 6, or even 7 plants scouted out in as much of a circle as you can make it. Sometimes you'll run into a grouping of plants that are close enough together for you to stay on foot. However, I was finding more success flying around with my scout ornithopter and smashing down these seeds with that. It allowed me to kind of expand the radius of the circle that I was able to do. And realistically, the spawn time for these agave seeds is actually pretty short. So you should be able to just loop this over and over and over again. I managed to get 200 agave seeds in just over 20 minutes, and a lot of that time was wasted kind of like getting my bearings with exactly what I wanted the loop to be. So you could easily pull more than 200 of these seeds in 20 minutes here. And then if we fly out over to the auction house, you'll see here there is in fact an offer up for agave seeds. They're being sold at 4,500 each. I put mine in at 4,000 a piece, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to sell decent. And I say that because it wasn't but maybe 7 hours before I decided to make this video that I was in the auction house purchasing agave seeds myself. And I bought them for 6,000 Solari each. It was the whole reason I even decided to go and make this video here, was because if I was willing to pay 6,000 Solari each for some agave seeds, surely that there is a market for these, and that means that you can actually make some ridiculous money here. Unfortunately, as with any Dune money-making method, realistically, aside from the radiation suits, this is server dependent because it does depend on how active your auction house is and, you know, what things are being sold for. While we were live on stream, speaking of which, we run those right here on YouTube as well as on Twitch. I'll have a link to the Twitch down in the description. But while we were live on stream, we actually had somebody bring up that agave seeds on their auction house were selling for 1.5 thousand each. That's personally the lowest that I've heard them being sold for, but even at 1.5 thousand each, you'd be looking at walking out of here with 300,000 gold in just 20 minutes. But that's about it when it comes to this entire money-making method here. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are doing inside of Dune Awakening to make some Solari. If this video helped you out at all, then do me a favor and hit that like button. You'd be surprised how far even just one single like will go in pushing a video into the algorithm. But other than that, I hope you guys all have an amazing day. I'm out.